Before I get into my top 25 shooters, I'd just like to mention you can get 10% off any paid game in this list by using my affiliate link linked in the description below. You'll find a Google Sheet, click on the link of the game that you want, and that will offer you 10% off that game. Plus, if you download a free game using one of my affiliate links, you get 50% off your first in-game purchase. And if you're after a Quest 3 or Quest 3S, you get a free $30 in free Quest cash just by purchasing it through my affiliate links in the description below. And now we're going to go on to my top 25 shooters for the Quest 3, and I've split this list up into various categories like best co-op shooters, best single player shooters, and so on. So if you want to skip to a certain category, you can. It's in the timestamps below. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now onto the time-based puzzle shooters, and we'll start with the daddy of them all. It's Superhot VR, the one that started it all. It's a groundbreaking VR experience that fuses cerebral strategy with explosive slow motion action. Its core mechanic is where all the fun's at, so only time moves when you do, and this creates the uniquely tactical environment where every move matters. There's no health regeneration in this game, no ammo pickups, so Superhot VR really demands precision, creativity and adaptability as you weave through bullets Matrix style and disarm your enemies in mid-combat. Like I said, this was the first time-based puzzle shooter that created this whole subgenre of shooters that I'm about to talk about next, and even though it's the first, it still stands the test of time and definitely worth a look in. Next we have Action Hero. Now just like Superhot VR, it has the same awesome time mechanics that makes Superhot so strategic, with time moving as you move. But I would say it improves on Superhot VR's formula by adding more variety in enemies, variety in stages, and variety in weapons. It even has bosses. So in this game you get to experience various movie sets, from spy thrillers to kung fu showdowns and treasure hunts, which creates that varied and immersive adventure, as well as a single player campaign and an arcade mode to add replayability. Our next shooter, Vendetta Forever, is a little bit different to the ones we've explored just previously, in that it's not a time-based shooter, but you could think of it as a strategic, puzzle-based shooter, so that's why I put it in this category here. And the thing that makes this game unique to other shooters is that you move through combat with this, what they call a low-kill motion. What that means is it has this unique mechanic that propels you forward with each takedown. So you basically move forward with every person you kill. And that's where the strategy element comes in, because you really have to think about who you're killing, as that's going to determine how you move through the game. There's over 60 tightly crafted scenes, and the explosive deleted scenes update, which features everything from 1920s Tommy gun rampages to zero gravity ray gun duels, which makes Vendetta Forever a VR action game that's stylish, strategic and satisfying down to its very core. And now we go on to our last time-based shooter strategy type game, and this is Chrono Strike. So as a Chrono Strike agent in this dystopian future, you harness the power of slow time manipulation. And again, time moves as you move, so the same kind of Superhot mechanic. It also has a one-hit death mechanic which ratchets up the tension, but one of the unique features of this game is the co-op mode. And that's what makes this game unique to the other two time-based shooters that I mentioned before. There's a single player mode too, but the co-op mode is really where I think this game shines. With co-op, you're not just thinking about yourself now, you're thinking about your partner. Because when you move, time advances not only for you, but also for your partner. Which means you have to stay in constant communication with your partner with every move you make in order to be successful, creating some of the best team-based gameplay that I've experienced on the Quest to date. Now we go on to our VR roguelite shooters, and the first I want to introduce you to is Sweet Surrender. This is a high-octane modern roguelite shooter set within a towering dystopian megastructure. The reason why I love this game is very fast-paced. You've got this agile combat with a variety of movement options like grappling, teleporting, ziplining, and added to that you have this rich arsenal of firearms and melee weapons combined with upgrade chips and powerful enhancements. This means you can have a really customized and varied experience. Every run offers a new challenge with procedurally generated levels, unlockable classes, and these progression systems that really reward you for experimenting. Sweet Surrender's fun combat and replayable structure make it a standout VR roguelite shooter that's definitely worthy of this list. And my next shooter isn't a typical shooter in the sense that it doesn't use guns, but you're still shooting arrows. So I've included it in this list because it really takes the VR archery experience to new heights with its buttery smooth and precise bow mechanics and roguelite structure in these procedurally generated medieval fantasy settings. So you get to battle through the realms of purgatory and heaven, facing waves of corrupted souls and angelic foes. And what makes this game so replayable is the adaptive difficulty, the multiple secret areas, and the challenging difficulty, which might be frustrating for some, but for me, it provides a challenge that is tough but not unfair. You also have this Siege of Heaven mode that caters for both casual and competitive players, where it's all about scoring points and getting that high score. So tightly polished visuals on top of a top tier archery physics game. That's why I think In Death Unchained is one of my favourite roguelite shooters on the Quest. We'll finish off this section with a game that I don't think gets as much love as it deserves. This is Compound. It's one of the best roguelite shooters on the Quest, thanks to its intense retro-inspired gameplay. It features randomised levels, ensuring no two runs feel the same, a satisfying free-roaming combat system, where as the player you have to physically duck, dodge and manoeuvre your way through barrages of enemy fire. It's a real challenging game, definitely unforgiving and very fast-paced, and that's why I love it too, because it's the kind of game that really rewards skill, strategy and your perseverance. And of course, as you can see, it has this gritty pixel art aesthetic that harks back to those early boomer shooters, giving me a nice dose of nostalgia and offering up a really awesome, deeply rewarding VR roguelite shooter. Now onto the best rhythm shooters, and I've got only one game here, and it's Pistol Whip, and it's one of the best shooters on the Meta Quest 3 because it practically redefines what a VR shooter can be. It blends the intensity of classic action films like The Matrix with a rhythm game. So rather than hiding and ducking behind cover, you're constantly moving, dodging bullets and blasting enemies to the beat of some awesome cinematic soundtracks. And it all takes place in these beautifully stylized dreamscapes. It's one of those games that's really easy to pick up but tough to master, and offers satisfying gunplay that rewards precision, timing and flow. There's also a ton of content that you get with this game too, with over 40 unique scenes, modded content, customizable gameplay settings, award-winning campaigns like Smoke and Thunder and 2089. Pistol Whip really offers almost endless replayability, whether you're chasing the highest score on the leaderboard or looking for a fun, fitness-friendly FPS. Pistol Whip has you covered. With Quest 3 introducing colour pass-through mode, mixed reality games have become more and more plentiful, and here I have two of my favourite mixed reality first-person shooters, starting with Spatial Ops, a mixed reality shooter where you're blasting through portals in your living room, and you can also play high-intensity team matches with up to 8 players in competitive or team-based modes like Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag. It turns any space into a laser tag style arena of pure chaos. And if you prefer solo play, there's also a full story-driven campaign. Spatial Ops seamlessly blends the real and virtual worlds with smart weapon upgrades, interactive portals and environment-based tactics that delivers a thrilling and one-of-a-kind shooter where your home becomes the battlefield. And another fantastic mixed reality shooter that I can recommend is Last Stand. This is the world's first multi-location mixed reality PvP shooter. So what that means is you can play this game in mixed reality with a friend without having to be in the same location, making it one of the most innovative and exciting shooters on the Quest 3. And whether you're battling another player remotely or taking on relentless zombie hordes solo, Last Stand turns your living room into a dynamic war zone. Every piece of furniture becomes part of your survival strategy. So with both competitive PvP and solo horde modes, Last Stand is a unique shooter that redefines the immersive home combat experience, and given currently it's still in early access, it's only just getting started. Now on to the best solo story-based shooters, and I'll start with Metro Awakening. This game has a gripping story that's infused with atmospheric exploration, tense combat and plenty of psychological horror. It's set in the haunting tunnels of post-apocalyptic Moscow, with handcrafted weapons, limited ammo, and enemies ranging from mutated horrors to vengeful spirits. This is the Metro franchise like you've never experienced it before. There's also different ways you can approach this game too, such as through stealthily avoiding danger, or going in there more gun-ho and fighting for your life. Metro Awakening really captures the essence of survival horror in virtual reality and is one of the best VR shooters with a great story. And another game that has oodles of atmosphere is Alien Rogue Incursion. Set in the Alien universe, you play as an ex-colonial marine and you infiltrate a sinister Weyland-Yutani research facility. The Alien Rogue Incursion expertly blends heart-pounding action with edge-of-your-seat horror, and is a bit of a mix of stealth, survival, and all-out combat. You face off against the most cunning and lethal xenomorphs in movie history, and this is part one of a cinematic narrative that's going to be delivered over 2 parts. And my next game is one you might not see featured on many lists, and that's Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge with the Last Call DLC. Now when this game first came out, it did get a bit of a bad reception because it wasn't the open world exploration game that people were expecting, and it was a little bit short. But when the DLC came out, I think it improved it leaps and bounds. So I recommend getting this game with the DLC. And it's hands down one of my favourite first person shooters on the Quest. You play as a humble droid repair technician, and you get to fight alongside iconic characters like R2-D2 and C-3PO. The game's mission-based structure allows you to jump between epic quests, letting you experience all different eras of the Star Wars universe, and the Last Call add-on expansion also lets you adventure further, offering new locations, new characters, such as getting to play as an assassin droid, which is so awesome, and plenty of challenges as well. So to me, Tales from the Galaxy's Edge with the Last Call DLC delivers a really top-notch interactive narrative-rich shooter that really only Star Wars can provide. Then we go into Resident Evil 4 VR. So Resident Evil 4 is a legendary game that has really stood the test of time, and its transition to VR. It's been completely reimagined for virtual reality as you step once again into the boots of Leon S. Kennedy. The newly designed VR mechanics work so well. Every reload, every headshot, every encounter feels visceral, it's smooth and polished, and best of all, you still get the creepy bioengineered monsters that Resident Evil 4 is famous for, but this time in full, brutal, immersive VR. In addition, there is a 3 Mercenaries mode that adds even more replayability with wave-based challenges and unlockable content. Another game that's all about survival is Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Set in the walker-infested ruins of New Orleans, the game blends intense combat, resourceful scavenging, and narrative-driven choices in a brutal fight for survival. In this game, you craft weapons from scrap, sneak around through darkened alleyways with your flashlight that casts beautiful dynamic shadows, and face off against the undead and other desperate human survivors. The combat is fantastic here, so visceral, especially when you're burying a melee weapon into a zombie. It just feels so satisfying. Saints and Sinners isn't just your typical zombie game, it's a fully realised survival experience that puts your instincts, ethics and your aim to the test. Into the Radius is our next game, one of the best shooters on the Quest 3 because it combines intense survival mechanics with realistic gunplay and a hauntingly immersive open world experience. So this is set in a blighted post-apocalyptic zone where you're cut off from the outside world, dropping you in this kind of unforgiving environment where pretty much your only allies are your weapons, your instincts, and how prepared you are to navigate the dangerous terrain that's filled with deadly anomalies and hidden loot. For me, the game's standout feature is its ultra-realistic firearm handling and its extensive arsenal from AKs to Mosin Nagants, each requiring manual reloading, maintenance and precise handling if you want to survive. And now we're going to our co-op shooters, starting with Into the Radius 2. That stands out to me as one of the best co-op shooters on the Quest 3, thanks to the immersive survival mechanics, the tactical gameplay and impressive realism. Maintaining your arsenal of firearms is key, as neglecting your weapon or going into the Radius unprepared usually proves fatal. Into the Radius 2 takes the customization features of number 1 and dials it up to 11, allowing you to build your loadout from the ground up, arranging vests, rigs and backpacks to suit your tactical need and personal style. And now with a partner, facing off against the deadly environmental hazards and intelligent enemies together, you now have this extra strategic element that will reward your teamwork and careful planning together. So if you plan your resource management correctly between the two of you, You can really support each other in completing the missions that you need to complete. But having said that, whether playing solo or teaming up with a friend, Into the Radius 2 delivers a uniquely gripping and challenging experience. And now we go on to 2 games here in the same series. Arizona Sunshine Remake is the first, and it's an overhaul of the beloved VR classic, rebuilt from the ground up to take full advantage of the next gen hardware. Whether you're slicing through zombies with a machete or unloading a shotgun blast into a horde, the combat feels satisfying, and there's a new mutilation system that makes every takedown feel just brutally rewarding. And with the seamless 2-player co-op mode for the story and a 4-player horde mode, there's plenty of undead action to enjoy with friends here. This remake comes bundled with all the original DLC as well, so you get plenty of content too. And if that's not enough for you, you've also got Arizona Sunshine 2. It takes the original game but gives you more zombies, more gore, and more firepower. So this game picks up in a familiar but bloodier desert landscape. You've got a more deeper and varied arsenal this time, with fan favourite shotguns and machetes to glorious flamethrowers. And again, there's a full 2-player campaign co-op mode and an expanded 4-player horde mode too. Now, moving away from the zombies, we come onto another series here. Zero Caliber is a tactical shooter, perfect for players looking for a mix-up of solo, co-op or PvP action, although I think the co-op action is where this game really shines for me. So across 20 plus missions, you'll battle through gritty environments using a customizable arsenal of 40 plus guns and melee weapons, all with real-time attachment options. You get to run the full campaign in solo or co-op modes, but there's also classic PvP modes too, and a survival mode. And for me, it's one of the most rich tactical shooters with a co-op campaign that you can get for standalone VR today. And if you want more of it, you've got Zero Caliber 2, which levels up everything from the original game with sharper design, deeper mechanics, and even more firepower. This sequel brings a cinematic 8+ hour campaign, fully playable in 4-player co-op. You have 60 plus weapons this time, with more attachments, more skins, and the same intense and responsive combat from the first game. And now we move on to a sci-fi co-op shooter, Into Black. This is an adventure game, an exploration game that blends rich storytelling, exploration, and combat into one sleek package. You have 20 plus levels spanning biomes like molten chambers, alien nests, and sunken caverns. You can play solo or play co-op with up to 3 friends, and because encounters with aliens are so deadly, it really pushes you to keep on resource gathering and upgrading your weapons. And beyond co-op, you also have a 12-player PvPvE mode. And now onto our last category, which is PvP multiplayer shooters, and I'm going to start with Contractors. This is a fast-paced tactical combat experience packed with depth and variety. It offers 16-player ground war battles featuring fully customizable loadouts, a massive arsenal of over 30 weapons, and with full crossplay between the Quest and Rift platforms. There's an ever-present and growing player base with a great library of community-made maps and modes. Contractors offers a incredibly replayable and dynamic VR tactical shooter. Another tactical shooter is Onward, focusing on hardcore realism. This is designed for players who crave authenticity. It has PvP, PvE and solo modes, from intense 4-player co-op missions to gritty competitive battles. Onward emphasises realistic weapon handling, limited heads-up displays and high-stakes firefights that really reward team cohesion, coordination and synergy. This is a no-frills, boots-on-the-ground experience that will really test your combat instincts and teamwork strategy. And we go into another tactical shooter here, Ghost of Tabor. This is a truly hardcore survival and extraction-based FPS experience. Unlike anything else really that you can get on the Quest, it blends PvPvE gameplay with deep survival mechanics. You must scavenge, fight and strategize your way through hostile environments with both AI enemies and real players who pose constant threats. There's systems for hunger, thirst, health and crafting, which makes survival more than just shooting. It's about planning and resource management. Ghost of Tabor offers massive weapon and gear customization, sprawling marketplace and vendor missions that unlock exclusive rewards. It really delivers unmatched depth and tension. And yet another tactical shooter we have is Breachers VR. The Quest does have a great range of tactical shooters here, and Breachers expertly blends strategic depth and heart-pounding close quarter action. So in Breachers, you either put in the boots of an enforcer, where your task is to breach walls, deploy drones and disarm bombs, or a revolter, who works against the enforcers, fortifying defenses with traps, sensors and door blocks. What I love about Breachers, it has intuitive mechanics and a wide range of gadgets that allow for endless tactical creativity. There's customizable loadouts too, so you can tailor the game to your playstyle. And there's a range of beautifully crafted maps, from urban rooftops to icy research labs. With frequent updates and cross-buy support too, Breachers is a quality, polished, competitive shooter. And of course, where would a top shooter list be without Pavlov? Pavlov is an oldie but a goodie, one of the most compelling multiplayer shooters on MetaQuest. You get to engage in game modes like 5 versus 5 search and destroy matches, or your classic deathmatch or team deathmatch modes. There's a range of modes available in this game, as well as drivable vehicles like tanks and 4x4s, which add extra depth and tactical possibility. With this game, you get access to hundreds of community-made maps, mods, with more on the way. Pavlov is a constantly evolving game. Now, moving away from the realism a bit here, we're looking at Population 1. This game is free, and it allows you to climb, fly and build anywhere. It has this innovative vertical combat system, turning the entire map into a strategic playground. You've got your classic Battle Royale mode here, you have a 12 versus 12 war mode, and just a bunch of PvP and PvE modes, including your classic team deathmatch and co-op bot battles, plus frequent live events and updates just to keep the community engaged. And an engaged community is what Population 1 definitely has. It has a vibrant social hub, and all for free. And finally, we have Hyperdash. I love this game for just how fast paced and exhilarating it is. It's not realistic, so if you're after realism, you want to steer away from this one, but it has really cool, unique movement mechanics where you get to dash, sprint and rail grind, effectively allowing you to zip across arenas with unmatched agility that's just exhilarating, and outmaneuvering and outgunning your opponents is a whole lot of fun. Again, this one is fully free to play, just like Population 1, and it's loaded with community-driven content. And with that, we come to our final category, and that is sandbox shooters, starting with Hard Bullet. This game drops you into a hyper-violent, slow-motion playground where imagination is everything. Whether you're diving through the air in bullet time, dual-wielding pistols, or landing a satisfying leg kick, every movement feels so immersive and cinematic. The game's depth goes beyond pure action and offers a wide variety of ways to engage, from fighting endless waves of enemies to testing your skills in structured challenges, or just building outrageous weapons using tools like welders and spanners. With over 100 customizable firearm and melee weapons, plus a physics-driven combat system that lets you disarm enemies, perform one-handed reloads, or even climb giant bad guys, the possibilities here are endless. And our next and final game in this category is Bone Lab, delivering one of the most immersive and physics-driven VR shooter experiences available to date on the Quest 3. This game is the spiritual successor to the massively popular Boneworks. It refines and expands on everything fans loved from the original, with realistic physics, intense combat, and complete freedom of interaction. What makes Bone Lab one of the best sandbox physics-based shooters is the physical realism you get here. Every weapon, whether ranged, melee, or something else truly bizarre, feels weighty and responsive. And the game itself is a rich sandbox with arenas, obstacle courses, tactical trials, and experimental levels that really push the limits of what VR can do. And we've covered a lot in this list, but before I finish up, I'd just like to give an honourable mention to the Dr. Beef ports. So if you go onto SideQuest, there are a range of different Dr. Beef ports that bring classic flat screen games to VR. So here you have Half-Life, or Doom 3, or Quake, and of course the original Doom as well. You can even play that, or Duke 3D. There's so many classic games you can play in VR thanks to the Dr. Beef ports. The ports themselves are free, but you might need to own the base game files, like the WAD files for Doom, for example, that you can get from Steam or GOG, or from the original discs if you own the original versions of the game like I do. And these are a great way to re-experience your childhood or your early adulthood, or whatever you experienced these games back in the day, again, but in full glorious VR, and the ports are fantastic. They're amazing ports of these games. I can highly recommend checking them out. So that's it from me. What did you think of this list? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, remember you can get 10% off these games by using the affiliate links linked in the Google Sheet below, and you can get 50% off your first in-app purchase when you download one of the free games using the affiliate links. Again, all in that Google Sheet listed in the description. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate a sub and a like if you have enjoyed the video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye for now.